All right, from Pierre Polyev. Breaking: Mark Carney's platform was written by Justin Trudeau and his team weeks before Carney became Liberal leader. The only tweaks Carney made were to increase inflationary spending even higher. Let's take a look.
The Liberal platform, frankly, that's something I will say that has been ready for several weeks now. Mona Fortier was the one who was working on this, and it was ready before Mark Carney even became Liberal leader. So, he only had to tweak a couple of things.
So it makes perfect sense. But to me, what I see here is that Trudeau's platform was written by Carney in the first place. I mean, he was the economic advisor to Justin Trudeau. We know that. If you've read any of Mark Carney's book Values and just listen to anything he said over the past decade, and he said a lot in public, you can see, looking back with hindsight, you can see that Carney's fingerprints have been all over the Canadian economy now for years, since at least 2020. So why would he change it? It was already his, right? I mean, that's really bad, right? His record is really, really terrible. His record in England is really, really terrible. In fact, hold on one second. Where is she? Here she is, Liz Truss, former Prime Minister of the UK. Let's hear what she has to say about Mark Carney and his brilliant, brilliant economic ideas.
Just wanted to get your thoughts on Mark Carney and your relationship with him while you were Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, and any advice you have to Canadians who think he might make a good Prime Minister.
Well, Mark Carney was Governor of the Bank of England, and under his tenure, too much money was printed, which did damage to the British economy and put our economy off track. He, at the last election, endorsed Rachel Reeves' economic policy. She's now become Chancellor. It's been a disaster for Britain. The country is heading for bankruptcy. So I would strongly recommend not backing Mark Carney or his policies on net zero, which have been disastrous for Britain and would be disastrous for Canada.
Do you trust his judgment overall, outside of ideological considerations?
Well, I believe that he made major mistakes in the management of the Bank of England. He has pushed net zero, which has been a disaster, not just for the UK, but for many countries across the world.
Thanks for your time, Prime Minister. Appreciate it.
Let's see, printing money, and let's see, bankrupt. Well, there's no way he'd do that in Canada, right? There's no way he would do that in Canada. Now, he's learned his lesson, I'm sure, right? Let's see. Bloomberg just said if Carney is reelected, Canada's fiscal position will worsen and our debt to GDP unlikely to improve. Vote properly, Canada. So, and Mark Carney has deep ties to Bloomberg, and they're even saying this. Overall, the platform shows Canada's fiscal position worsening. Who could have guessed? If the Liberals are reelected on April 28th and the party is currently leading in most polls, well, we'll see about that. Canada is unlikely to improve its debt to GDP ratio over the forecast horizon, which was previously a key fiscal guidepost offered by the Liberals under Trudeau. They didn't even mention that we're in a population trap right now, and Mark Carney is going to just make that all the worse. So I guess maybe it is something we need to worry about. Maybe this guy should be thinking about that a little bit. I mean, the money might run out. I mean, the hyperinflation might come before you die. So maybe you should, maybe a little bit of an attitude adjustment is in order there, Liberal voter. The Carney Liberals, this is from Table Salt, the Carney Liberals pledged to increase foreign aid as part of the $225 billion new debt spending. So it does seem like Carney is looking to print money and bankrupt Canada. I guess the foreign aid thing, that should just be a no-brainer, but he has publicly committed to borrowing money and throwing it away on foreign countries. He's committed to that. Let's see. So he's going to put future generations in increasing debt. Also, too, we should mention right now, before we get started, that did you guys know, the regular viewers will know this because I've said it many times, do you know that Canada now spends more money servicing just the interest on the national debt than is paid out in transfer payments to the provinces for healthcare right now? So let's see. Is it worth it to send $100 million to Palestinians in Gaza? Yes. So he's very passionate about sending $100 million to Hamas. Sorry. UNRWA. UNRWA, sorry. I guess I misspoke. Let's see. This is a beauty. John Fraser notes that this is batshit crazy. What do you think? Let me know in the chat. Do you guys think this is batshit crazy? Canada is giving $3.8 million to help the Lebanese armed forces update their mountain warfare ski school to allow for multi-gender occupancy. Well, it says here it's a maintenance building, I guess. Did anybody say, just mention that perhaps Lebanon could live without the $3.8 million maintenance building? Now, my first thought was, mountain warfare ski school in Lebanon? Yeah, they got mountains. It actually is a thing. But did anybody consider that perhaps they could just live without the maintenance building? Maybe they could do it themselves. Maybe they could figure out a way. How many Lebanese would be, desperately sad and disappointed if they didn't get their maintenance building for $3.8 million? $3.8 million for a maintenance building in Lebanon? That just feels like $3.8 million just going to somebody who tricked Canada into giving them money. Which I'm sure all of this is. Again, it's not building wells for clean water in Africa. Government of Canada announced several key measures to help the Syrian people build a stable country that respects all of its citizens. $84 million in humanitarian aid to Syria. Syria is run by literal terrorists. It's a literal jihadist state right now. I say we don't send any money over there because it's going to be $84 million in terrorism aid. I feel very bad for the people that are suffering under the horrible government, but we all know all of that money is going to go straight to the jihadis. That's since he's been leader. That's since he's been leader of the party, Carney. Let's see. Trudeau spent $11 billion on overseas gender programs. You think that's going to end? Mark Carney has already let us know he's a champion of insane, crazy redefinitions of the word gender into some infinite series of abstractions totally divorced from reality. He's let us know he's all for that. It's very important to him. Here we go. March 10th. This is not like years ago. This is March 10th. The government of Canada announces $272 million to Bangladesh to fill in, guess what? USAID gap. Of course, intersectional democratic spaces in Bangladesh, gender responsive and inclusive in education, community resilience through locally led inclusive adaptation. What? It just sounds like they're trying to brainwash Bangladeshis into their woke religion. Isn't this colonialism, by the way? Aren't we supposed to be against this? Isn't their culture supposed to be sacred? Isn't this just more of that colonialism we're all supposed to be worried about 24 hours a day? I say leave them alone. I say that intersectional democratic spaces in Bangladesh is none of our goddamn business, right? It's none of Canada's business. If they want to do that, go ahead. I don't care. I'm not going to stop them. I don't want to spend $1 to stop them. I don't want to spend $1 to help them. Just don't care. It's none of Canada's business. And of course we know it's all just going to be stolen anyway, right? It's ridiculous. Again, this isn't going to building wells for poor people there. It's going to brainwash Bangladeshis for some reason into a weird, woke, infinite series of abstractions. I just don't think we should do it. I'm just against it. Why? Why do we want to do that? So this is all the stuff that he wants to keep spending money on. What's this? Cat Canada, $25 million for designing spaces in concert with women, trans, and non-binary, HRDs, W, blah, 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 alphabets in Nairobi, Kenya. I kind of feel like these countries have all kind of made up their minds on the woke stuff. They're not for it. It's like Afghanistan, the Taliban, right? They've kind of made up their mind on like feminism, for instance. They've made up their mind on this. They're just not really interested in what we have to say. They're like, no, thanks. We've made up our minds. We don't like it. Yeah, so we were talking about printing money, bankrupting the country. Printing money and bankrupting the country. And it appears that Mark Carney has not learned anything, and he just wants to keep doing that. And smooth-brained people want to help him. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say about that. Please like, share, and subscribe. Subscribing really helps me out. I thank you for that. I will see you next time.